gotta be honest, I think you know we're covered in lies and that's okay. And there's somewhere beyond this, I know, but I hope I can find the words to say. Never again, no, no, never again. I'll leave the chorus to Jazz. What I was trying to communicate with that song is I really hope our guests on this show can find the words to alleviate our fears when it comes to food security. Now, we've been grappling with food security as a nation for quite some time now, having become a net importer of food. Even items that we produce in surplus, like chicken, the price of that is going up. Around the world, it's just the same. America has Joe Biden blaming Putin, calling it the Putin price hike, laying all blame for the rising prices square at Putin's door. Yes, the Russia-Ukraine situation has contributed greatly to the supply chain disruptions, but what of systemic issues within the countries themselves? For example, let's go back to America. They can and they have the capacity to produce oil in surplus. However, the reason they're not doing that is because of the elements of the Green New Deal they have embedded in their current government. Well, let's leave America aside. Let's look at China. You don't hear much blame coming out of China simply because they have been tackling this issue of food security and sustainability for a very long time. Through many dynasties, many famines, each ruler, emperor, and now president has decided that food security will be at the core of their government. Let's come back now down to Malaysia. We've had so many government initiatives over so many different governments put in place. But honestly, most of them have failed. The reason is unknown. We are here to answer some of those questions, because if they had succeeded, we wouldn't be here today talking about scarcity and how food prices are on the rising trend simply because we are not sustainable. So some of these questions have to be addressed. We're going to get some honest answers from the Deputy Minister of Agriculture and Food Industries. He'll be joining us on Talk to Terrence. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with some honest conversation.
I see your face, it's not a thing that I would change, 'cause you're amazing, just the way you are.
If you wonder why Jazz is always quiet, we let him talk with his music. Yeah? Welcome, Weena. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me, Terrence.
Wow, it has been quite a while since we last sat down.
Yeah.
In fact, the last time we met, we were standing up hosting a show together.
Yes, I think it was about 3 to 4 years ago. I guess.
24 years ago?
No, 3 to 4 years.
Okay, sorry, bad hearing. I'm the one getting old, and you're the one staying young.
Oh, thank you.
So
thank you.
a big part of that is your journey through fitness, which I was surprised to know you just started about 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So why did you start in the first place?
I started because I was bored. To be honest, let me just be honest. I was bored, and I just decided to join my friend at his gym, and I grew to love doing fitness more and more each and every day. So I was not really an outdoor person.
Okay.
I'm not really an active person in the past, but because I was hanging out with a group of active people, so that somehow rubbed it on me, and yeah, here I am today.
Wow. So when you say you have grown to love doing fitness, there's so many things you can do in fitness.
Yeah.
Which kind of fitness activity specifically do you enjoy?
I enjoy doing strength training because growing up, I was always weak. You know, I can't lift this, I can do that. I feel very weak. So I started doing more on strength training, and then after that, I moved on to tennis and hiking as my cardio exercise.
So I also enjoy strength training because I feel that you can like accomplish things.
Yeah.
Like today I can maybe do a 100 kg squat. Tomorrow maybe I can do a 150.
Oh my
No,
lord.
not tomorrow lah.
100 kg is a lot. I haven't get there yet.
Well, yeah, of course lah. I must be able to lift more, man.
Yeah, all the muscle, right?
So for you, is that the same? You enjoy strength training because you have those goals that you can set for yourself?
Yes, you are right on that, because you know, with strength training we progress day by day, and there are times that when I remember when I was able to do deadlift of 60 kg, I feel such achievement.
Wow.
You know, yeah.
60 kgs is basically your body weight lah.
Yeah, my
So
body.
lifting your
Hey, why
body
you
weight, deadlift. Okay, sorry. I let one cat out of the bag. My bad. It is a good thing because you're able to lift your entire body weight on a deadlift. And for those of you that have not been to a gym yet, I don't know why you haven't been to a gym yet, because we've been talking about fitness for a couple of episodes now. The deadlift is basically that you lift the weight which is dead on the ground, and you lift it up, basically, stand up straight and drop the weight back down again. So being
good for
able
your
to
glutes.
lift your own body weight is a huge achievement, I would say. Besides that, there's another big component about fitness, which is the food.
Oh yes.
How do you manage that?
I learned I learn more about food now. Last time, you know, when we talk about diet, it's always, for me, it's always about eating less. But now through knowledge that I gained from my personal trainer, he taught me a lot about nutrition. So now I know how to eat right for my body, because to be honest, there's a lot of body type in this world. You know, we have apple body, pear body type, and for me, I took an extra step to further understand my body, and I actually took a DNA test, and I found out that I am actually I have carb sensitivity. So the optimal diet for my body is to go on a low carb diet if I want to reach an optimal body type. So I think from there, I learned how to pick and choose the right food for me. So I'll eat more veg and protein, lesser processed carbs, refined carbs. Yeah.
Is it expensive though to stay in this zone of being mindful of what you eat? Because today we're talking about food security, later on with the Deputy Minister. Is it expensive to stay fit?
I would say yes. If you want to have like quality food, like, you know, like vegetable, we have broccoli, spinach, it is quite costly. And chicken breast, you know, nowadays chicken prices, they are quite pricey. But yeah, I think it's a give and take. You know, because I wanted to achieve certain bodies, so there's a sacrifice lah. Money has to.
But you make back the money from your influencer stuff.
Have to work harder lah to put food on the table.
You're being modest. Check her out on Instagram. She's doing so well. I want to go back to your pageant days, because a lot of people assume that if you're Miss Malaysia Tourism, you know, you're gifted. You know, you've got these genetics all signed and delivered by the man above.
Oh, wow, thank you so much. What an honor.
How much work went into that?
Well, I would say I'm blessed. I'm lucky to have won that pageant, Miss Malaysia Tourism. But moving, the day I won the title, I realized there's a big responsibility. So I really worked hard to maintain a good look, to focus on self-development in terms of public speaking, because we're doing a lot of appearance in the past. Yeah.
Yes. I can say from experience, she's come a long way there.
Oh, thank you.
And she's doing so good. If you watch any of her videos, you will see that skill level increase in public speaking. Maybe we'll have her back to talk about public speaking. But from the fitness perspective, right, women think that if you go to the gym and you do strength training, you get bulky.
Yes.
What is your answer to that?
That's a myth. That's a big misconception. So I think people don't understand that you don't get bulky because of lifting. You get bulky because of you eating the wrong food or eating too much of the wrong food. And for me, I learned a lot from my personal trainer. And I think by mixing up the right training and the right amount of calories in your diet, you won't get bulky.
There you go. I mean, I think it's a lot harder for women to actually
Yeah,
get
it's a lot harder, yes.
that buffed look. It takes a lot more effort, and lifting your body weight won't get you there. You have to lift like way more. Even for guys, right? For us to get that huge mini Hulk appearance, it would take us a lot more effort to get there. So I'm not going down that route either. Skincare, you know, we always say we have to put all these products on our face, make it look good. But when it comes to eating right, it also helps, right?
Yeah, it also helps. Okay. You know, eating less junks, sugar, it's a no-no, but I love sugar. So, I mean, we are only human, right? So there are cheat days where I will, you know, have my sugar and also some junks. But at the end of the day, if you are really moving forward to have a healthier body, I think you have to put in the discipline and the mindset into what you eat daily.
Jazz, put you on the spot here. What do you eat that is your favorite favorite food?
I would say nasi ayam.
Nasi ayam?
Yeah.
Are you sure that's your favorite?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Why?
favorite food, right? Yes, nasi ayam. I have banana leaf. I'm sure you have your favorite food as well. Where does all this factor into your diet? Because you have to, you know, count calories and all these things. If you basically love chicken rice,
Yeah.
can't you have chicken rice?
Can. You just have to eat it in a moderate portion, I would say. But for me, what works for me is that I will have 2 days of cheat days where I get
2 days?
2 days, yes.
This is the first
What
time I
works
hear
for me.
2 days a week.
Not 1 day, 2 days.
2 days a week.
Yes.
Oh, 2 days a week still got this result, man.
Well, 2 days a week is enough. It's good
Is it enough?
Yeah.
I mean, because 2 days, I feel it's a lot, leh.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, but 2 days a week, but you still, you know, put out this result, which is amazing.
I work extra hard.
You work extra hard, lah. So
The
2
training
days
part.
of cheating. What do you cheat with?
Oh, I am a big fan of noodles. So I love all types of noodles. You give me chili pan min, you give me Hokkien mee. I love it all. I'm not really a big fan of rice.
Okay.
So yeah. Then I love my bubble milk tea.
Bubble
That's about
milk
500
tea.
calories in 1 cup, man.
Oh my gosh, how do you burn that, lah? 1,000 calories in 1 cup. I heard somewhere, this is again maybe true, maybe not. If you drink your sugar, it's worse than you eat your sugar.
Yes, it's true. I have to agree on that.
Okay. All right. So if you drink your sugar, it's worse. But you said something that a lot of people kind of find counterintuitive. You can out-train a bad diet. Is that your notion?
Out-train a bad diet? Well, can.
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 Okay.
Can.
Give us some cheat codes because I've never heard that. How do we do it?
Okay, there are days that when I feel like I've had a little bit too much, I will tell myself that I'm gonna go run for at least 45 minutes. Just to burn that extra 500 calories.
45 minutes running.
Or 1 hour lah.
Oh.
As long as my body can take it.
I cannot do that lah. Running is out the window for me. So you love your cardio. That's how you out-train your
Or
diet.
even go hiking. you know,
Hiking?
Hiking, yes.
Okay, we can try hiking.
Enjoy the nature while you are burning calories.
Okay, this is something that's a running conversation here on the show. We've always identified the fact that Malaysia is the fattest nation in Southeast Asia.
Oh no, why?
We still are. But you know, it's kind of my goal to help bring that level down, so we're at least at par with Singapore. I mean, these guys, they go jogging on their lunch break.
Oh my God, such determination,
We
right?
have to keep up with that.
Yeah.
How can you inspire Malaysians to start their fitness journey? I know looking at you will help them already start. But beyond that, what can you say to Malaysians to get them in the mood?
I think, you know what, I can only speak from my experience. I actually also started being more serious in fitness because I had a health scare. So I was doing my routine checkup for my body and I found out certain things. So then that is where I decided to take action.
Wow.
And to really, commit to staying active and to control my diet as well. So even though you look at me, I'm very skinny, but you will never know what's going on in our body, with all the junks and the things that we put in our body. So that really scares me, and I think just having that mindset of achieving a healthy lifestyle will really help you change your bad habits. Yeah.
There you go. Where can all our viewers find you on social media for more tips and advice, and also to follow those grueling workouts? Where can they find you?
Where can I? You can find me at WENAMARCUS, Vina Marcus.
Everywhere. She's everywhere. So I think there's a link tree on your Instagram. You check out on Instagram, and you can find her everywhere else. And do chat with her. She's very friendly. You can ask her opinions on food, and she'll reply. I see her comment section. She's always replying. So this is this one influencer that really gets down and joins you in with your queries and your questions. Awina, one final parting word to all the ladies and guys watching out there who think this is not achievable. I cannot achieve this. What do you say to them?
You say it's mind over matter. You can always achieve whatever that you set your heart out to. So just don't give up and stay committed. Consistency is key.
Thank you very much, Rina. Jazz, boleh ya? 2 days only, chicken rice. Rest of the day you train like mad.
Boleh.
Can ah?
I don't need to makan lebih. Man. Twice already, enough already.
Twice a week, enough already. Huh?
Enough.
The rest of the time you sit in the chair playing the song for Wiener. Right?
Yeah, can.
Okay. We are going to be taking a break, and when we come back, we'll address escalating food prices, not just here in Malaysia, but around the world. But what are we doing about it? What's our government doing about it? And how can we ensure that Malaysians have all they need in terms of food supply? Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with the Deputy Minister of Agriculture and Food Industries right after this. Thank you, Ina.
Thank you.
Welcome back to Talk to Terrence. Thank you for staying with us. So, it's time to get into the thick of it. It's time to focus on food security and check out why rising global prices are going to hit us hard. And what are we doing about food security, ensuring production here in Malaysia equals, of course, demand. We're going to be very honest, very open with the Deputy Minister of Agriculture and Food Industries. Please help me welcome my guest, Yang Berhormat Datuk Seri Haji Ahmad bin Hamzah.
You better listen, better do what you're told. You haven't even touched a guna casserole. You better chow down or it's gonna get cold, so eat it. I don't care if you're full, just eat it. Eat it. Open up your mouth and feed it. Have some more yogurt, have some more spam. It doesn't matter if it's fresh or canned, just eat it.
Yes, we're going to eat it, but it's going to cost a lot more. So, Datuk Sri, thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much.
This is a very big honor because we're going to be focused on solutions, I hope, moving forward. But we can't run away from the global situation. So let's start there. Datuk Sri, what are your takes on what's affecting us all on a macro scale?
Thank you very much, Mr. Terrence, for inviting me to participate in this program. First of all, I should say that the world is at a critical juncture, and the food crisis has no respect for borders.
Okay.
And no country can overcome it alone. We have to work together in solidarity. Secondly, the overall food situation, food security situation, remain a major concern to the world, especially in Asia and the Pacific, home to the 60,000 world population.
That's a free. Let's just move on real quickly to something that is on everybody's minds. General food prices have gone up. And you're right to say that, of course, the food crisis does not respect any borders. But we've been told that about the pandemic. Now we're being told that about the food crisis. So people are very upset generally. Not just here in Malaysia, but I think it's a global situation. Let's look at the price of Malaysia's favorite protein, chicken.
Yeah.
Dato Sri, the price of chicken has been set at a ceiling level.
Yes.
But surprisingly, we, Malaysia, are a food exporter when it comes to chicken. We have 113% production of chicken. So why is the price of chicken still so high, Dato Sri?
The soaring prices of, firstly, the soaring prices of agricultural input and raw material itself for processing main food prices will hike. That's number one. Number two, this thing not happen only in Malaysia, but also globally. For chicken, in fact now, MAFI has made a regular contact, or for that matter, we will call all the farm owners. We want to know from them the problem that they are facing. And we want them to undertake that the supply of chicken is adequate and always stable. And after knowing their problem, and we can understand, then only we make decision by not only the government now impose a control price, but of course after knowing their problem, we have got to give them some subsidies.
Yes, so I understand the subsidy total for chicken stands at 700 million. And you just corrected me. You said that 700 million is up to the month of June.
Yeah.
So moving forward, how much more are we going to spend on subsidies for chicken, Dato Sri?
In fact, the subsidies started from February itself.
Right.
We are giving per kilo a subsidy of 60 cents first, February and March. So we are always making contact with them. After knowing their problem, and the raw material now keep going up monthly by monthly. So from April, May, June, we had another 80 cents, making it $1.40.
Wow.
For the subsidies. At that particular time, our control price is 8 ringgit 90 cents. Comes July, we are actually now, after consulting them, or after meeting with them, making engagement with them, then we agreed to their request. We imposed the price at 9 ringgit 40 cents. But the subsidies only at 1 ringgit 20 cents.
Well, it looks like our subsidies are increasing for just this specific produce, chicken, just chicken alone. So if you can draw some simple math, that's going to be about 1 billion ringgit on subsidies for chicken alone.
Yes.
I don't think it's very sustainable, and that's just me. I'm sure a lot of people doing the math are also with me on this. So are we too reliant on imports? Because although we are a net producer of chicken, we still import the chicken feed, the produce that is processed for chickens to eat. We actually import that stuff. Are we too reliant on food imports? Can't we produce our own chicken feed?
Firstly, our total subsidies first, from February up to June, end of June, is 728 million ringgit borne by the government to ensure that we are looking after our rakyat.
Okay.
So we don't want them to be burdened by the hike in price. And then comes July and August, for 2 months, government is subsidized 369 million, making a total of 1.1 million.
There you go. That's the price that says unreasonable.
As it is now, the total import of feed meal mainly on grain corn, whatever we call it, maize.
Right, maize.
Yeah, maize. We are importing, the price now has gone up to a level which is actually now is quite unbearable for the chicken farmer to sustain.
So that is our reliance on imports for chicken feed.
Yeah.
Overall, if we look at the agricultural sector, in terms of reliance on imports, it has actually gone up in terms of annual percentage change at 22.7% for 2020-2021, and also 14.8% for 2020-2021 in terms of the foodstuff subsector. So there's an escalating trend here, Dato Sri. The comparison of the value of foodstuff imports for the first quarter of 2022 will also record an increase of 23.5% or 17.8 billion over the first quarter. That is, I don't know, maybe it's just me, Dato Sri, but it does seem that we are importing too much food. Can we not produce our own?
Yeah. Mr. Terrence, you see, Malaysia is a trading nation, a small trading nation. As the global economy becomes more open and interconnected, the dynamic of import and export have also become more complex. For our import itself, for foodstuff alone, it keeps rising from 2018 to 2021. In 2019, our total import of foodstuff stand at 51.4 billion, rises about 2.5% compared to 2018. And it is rising 7.8% in 2020, making it 55.4 billion ringgit. And increase again.
Exactly.
14.4% in 2021, in a total of 63.6 billion ringgit.
So is it because the price of these imports are going up, or is it just because Malaysians are eating more?
It can be both, but definitely now the price going up. But not to that only. See, in comparison, the value of foodstuff import for the first quarter of this year, that means from January up to end of March, recorded an increase of 23.5%, which is amounting to 17.8 billion over the first quarter of 2021, only 14.4. That means an increase of 3.4 billion.
So back to my question, Dr. Sri, all these imports, can we not somehow produce them ourselves? If we look at China, such a huge country, of course, maybe it's an unfair comparison, but China is focused on food security and self-sustainability. So basically, they produce enough for their people. I think that's a great model for us to emulate because we have so much land still available and our population size is only 32 million. We've already reached that aging population threshold in the year 2020. Can we not begin to seriously focus on producing our own food?
Yeah, that's what we are doing now. See, when we are importing foodstuff, that means now the goods cannot be produced here. Or even if it is produced here, it is not enough. So we are talking about SSL.
SSR.
Now, certain food, our SSL is much lower.
Right.
So we have got to import. If our food, we have got excess, we can also export.
Okay, before we go to break, Dr. Sri, I just want you to quickly explain what is SSR.
That's what?
What is SSL or SSR, as you mentioned earlier, which, if I'm not mistaken, the SSR explains the extent to which a country's supply of agricultural commodities meet domestic demands.
SSL for poultry, for chicken for that matter now, we have more than enough. We have 104%.
Exactly, 113.
For this month, our total consumption should be about 69 million chicken. When we produce 70 million, that means an excess. For meat, that one we don't need to import, but we can export. That's
Exactly.
for paddy, for rice, we have only 63%. Then we are depending so much on importation.
There you go.
But we are doing something now.
right?
We are doing something.
Okay, Dr. Sri, I want you to hold that thought. We'll come back and talk about how we address food shortages with our favorite food, rice.
Yes.
So we're going to go to a quick break, and when we come back, Dr. Sri will explain more about what we're doing to address the shortages, not just in terms of net imports, but also how Malaysia is stepping up production. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back on Talk to Terrence. You gotta trust the man with the name Weird as a first name to take a classic by Michael Jackson and infuse his own thought on food into the lyrics. So we're talking about food, food security, and if you just joined us, we have our special guest in the house joining us here at the Lake Quadri Hotel. We have the Deputy Minister of Agriculture and Food Industries, Dr. Sri Ahmad, joining us. Thank you very much, sir, for being in conversation with us.
Thank you.
Dr. Sri, we were talking about chicken, and then we moved into everybody's favorite carbohydrate, rice. It is also the case that we have to import rice. There's too much demand from the Malaysian consumers for rice. So what's been done, Dr. Sri? What new methods are we employing to help close this gap, so that we don't become too dependent on imports for this staple meal?
Thank you very much, Mr. Aaron. Rice is our staple food. But unfortunately, we managed to produce our SSL only about 63%. The rest of it we are actually importing from neighboring countries. So what the government is doing now, MAFI has embarked on Smart Sawah berskala besar.
Okay.
That means Project Smart Sawah SBB.
And this is a special project because previously I understand that still the person who is involved in the process has to come up with 1,200 or 1,600 ringgit, and then the government will subsidize 2,500 ringgit. But under Smart Sawah berskala besar, something different is happening. Can you please explain, Dr. Sri?
The subsidies will continue. But what we are actually doing now, this Smart Sawah has got many factors. Why do we need to have a Smart Sawah? Because number one now, the farmers are aging.
Okay.
Aging farmers. And of course, their harvesting rate is low. The productivity is low. They have limited variety. And there also lack of youth interest in the industry and lack of proper supporting infrastructure. So now what we have, in 2020, the Smart Sawah SBB was introduced with a concept was a fusion that included two parties, the farmers and industry players. And this was designed for the purpose of looking into the interest of the very farmers who are actually now getting very meager income. So we want for them now to get much, much better income by getting more out of the land.
Okay. So how does that translate into more rice for Malaysia, Dr. Sri?
Well, because we want, the whole idea is we want to introduce modern farming. So these aging farmers didn't have that capacity, not only to buy machinery, but there's no knowledge, they have no knowledge on modernization. At the same time, we want to remove the middleman. Now, this, or for that matter now, the entrepreneur will come in together with the all paddy farmers in all their plots, introducing all the latest technique of planting by using all mechanization and automation, by using the drone and all, and then they will undertake to produce at least double what they are getting presently.
Okay. Dr. Sri, before we move into other categories of dairy, meat, fish, there have been a lot of these initiatives by the government in the past. The previous governments have also put into place, measures to help bring about a sustainable food industry and self-sustainability for Malaysia. But they've all fallen short. If they did succeed, we wouldn't be here today. And we wouldn't be coming up with new programs again and again. So my question to you on this, before we move forward, is where's the accountability going to come from in terms of ensuring that every new project the government embarks on actually meets the target?
Yeah, actually now any government will try their best for that matter now to please the people. And it is their duty now. And what actually we are doing now, we want to really embark. Since our SSL now is only 63, we want in five years' time, we must be able to manage to achieve at least 5% to increase our SSL. And another 5 years, by reaching 2020, we will be able to receive to get 10% increase on our SSL.
So from the 63%, we're going to increase to 73%.
Yes.
Is that your target?
Yes. Officially, our data is we are actually SSL 70, 30.
So we're going to go up to 80.
But by then, by 2030, we should be able to obtain 80% SSL.
That is a good target, I would say, but I do believe that we can do better. We can definitely harvest the full potential of our land. We would like to quickly ask you, Dr. Sri, about your recent visit to Nafas and those factories that you mentioned in our earlier conversation, and how production is being ramped up or not. Your thoughts on where we are in terms of efficacy.
On the?
On the efficacy. How many % production they're supposed to achieve, but they may or may not fall short.
Yeah, just now we were talking about on paddy, we are actually 63%.
63%.
But on dairy, susu, we are only achieving about 64% production of 41.8 million liters.
Okay.
Our consumption is 65.1 liters. That means now it's quite far. Then we go to beef and mutton. This is where we are really worried. We are only achieving about 22%.
Oh dear, that is not
Then
good news.
fish, we are near our target. We are actually now getting 93% on fish.
So based on these statistics that you just shared, I suppose meat is going to be the next in line, mutton is going to be the next in line in terms of food hike, because we haven't reached our targets for production. So I guess what the people would like to know is, if we never reached our target, who's going to be accountable, Dr. Sri?
Now we are actually now promoting all, not only private sectors, but also individual farmers to be involved in cattle rearing. To an extent now, we are quite fortunate to put on record that we have a couple of interested parties who are actually embarking on these new fields on cattle rearing. But for dairy, what the government is doing now, even though we are getting 64%, but our target by the end of PM 412, we must be able to get 100%. Because we are actually now targeting about 10,000 breeders to be shipped in by big scale farmers and small scale farmers. The government is giving them a matching grant. For small scale farmers, we are giving them 70-30. That means 70% borne by the government, 30% by the farmers. For big scale farmers, they are getting the other way around, 30-70.
Okay.
30 government and 70 them.
So all this is hoping to close the gap
Yes.
between where we are and where we're supposed to be.
Yes.
We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, I'm going to ask you about the Prime Minister's new announcement just last week, or 2 weeks ago perhaps, on how 100 million ringgit is going to be reallocated and repurposed
Yes.
with Suruhanjaya Koperasi Malaysia, or the Cooperatives Initiative here in Malaysia. So we're going to find out what your thoughts are on that when we come back. Don't go anywhere. Talk to Terrence. We'll be right back after this. We'll talk some technology as well as the new directive for cooperatives moving forward. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to Talk to Terrence. We have been in conversation with the Deputy Minister of Agriculture and Food Industries, and our focus is on food security. So far our conversation has been mixed. We've seen some very hopeful signs that the government is moving forward in terms of increasing capacity. But on the other end, we've fallen short on some of our targets. Dairy, mutton and beef, and of course rice are a little bit lower than what we expect. The worst, of course, being mutton and beef. So if you're a red meat lover, I'd expect an increase anytime soon. However, there are measures being addressed by the government of the day. And the Prime Minister recently announced that 100 million ringgit will be repurposed for Suruhanjaya Koperasi Malaysia, or SKM. And the Cooperatives Initiative is 100 years old. So the business model is not new. However, I want to find out from our guest, the Deputy Minister, what do you think is the viability and the capacity of cooperatives in utilizing this 100 million to help close those gaps that you mentioned earlier?
Well, recently, Yang Amat Berhormat, the Prime Minister of Malaysia, make an announcement to give 100 million allocation to Suruhanjaya Koperasi for the purpose of involving themselves into agricultural activities and agro-based industries. At the same time, they intend to indulge themselves into the chicken rearing as well. As I was saying earlier, when we are facing crisis, we cannot do it alone. We have got to work together in solidarity. So that means now, not only the farmers are working now, but also we are giving a good job to Nafas as well. Now, Suruhanjaya Koperasi also was given a good task.
All right, so it does seem that you're hopeful about the initiatives that the Prime Minister has announced.
Yes.
Dr. Sri, before we get to the closing, I want to talk about new technologies that we have developed that we're looking at exploring. In a recent event in Singapore, I noticed that they've repurposed many warehouses.
Yes.
So these warehouses now can cater for up to 80%, 85% of their food needs. The only thing they need to still import is rice.
Yes.
So everything else they can pretty much produce within these warehouses when it comes to agriculture-based production. And they learned this lesson during the pandemic. What lessons have we learned from the pandemic in terms of new technologies that we can explore to help increase our food security? Dr. Sri.
MARDI is an agency under MAFI which are actually involving themselves into Agricultural Research Institute. As it is now, they have developed the latest one, the new variety of rice, which is called MRQ103, which is low in glycemic, GI, and this one is suitable for diabetic patients. Before this, in last year, they managed to invent new tech variety, which is called IS21, which was actually very well received by the paddy planters. Since IS21 is giving them a very good return. And then at the same time, they are also now doing research on livestock breed, which is called ayam saga. Not only proton saga, ayam also got saga.
Bukan ayam sado, ayam saga.
Ayam saga. This ayam saga can be read intensive, semi-intensive, or free-range system. They have got similar characteristic behavior to ayam kampung. Actually, this is another ayam kampung, but more uniform in terms of appearance, feather color, and juga body size. But the beauty is, this saga, ayam saga, they have faster growth rate of 1.5 to 1.8 per kilo, per chicken.
Per chicken.
Per chicken. And their maturity compared to the native chicken, they are only 3 months.
So
compared
faster.
to ayam kampung, which is about 1.5 kilo, take about 6 months.
Okay.
And then the third one, the latest one they are inventing is the ruminant breed, which is called KK Elite. This KK Elite, daily weight gain of 0.35 kilo per day.
This ruminant breed is chicken again, or is it another food?
This cattle.
It's cattle. Right.
Cattle. This is semi-intensive on 0.8 kilo per day on feedlot. And their feed conversion ratio better than the other KK.
Okay, this one I'm not so confident, Dr. Sri. Honestly, I'll be honest with you, because you just mentioned our capacity production rate is only 20%. So very far off target. So when you bring in a new breed again, I don't know. So what else do we have on the cards, Dr. Sri?
Yeah, I'm sure now Marty's hands are full. At the same time, they are also now inventing new kajang boar on the goats. This crossbreed between boar and kajang, the local goat breed. Their winning weight is about 11.5 kilo and mature weight at 45 to 55 kilo. Less fat, higher lean compared to boar, which is good, something good.
All right. Dr. Sri, basically a quick summary from our conversation, and in closing, before we thank you for joining us. I would like to point out that our targets are almost there when it comes to chicken, when it comes to fish, when it comes to rice, which are staple foods. We're almost there. We're almost at our capacity. However, we fall short on the red meat proteins, obviously. 20% is very, very low. I would like to know a little bit more about how you're going to hold people within the purview of your ministry accountable. How are you going to make sure that they do their job?
Actually, now we are working together as a team. Then we know all agencies under MAFI now, we meet regularly, and they have to report on what are the achievements so far, especially on the food security is concerned. Because you see, we have our Dasar Agro Makanan Negara from 2021 to 2030. We have outlined that we have got to follow all the rules and regulations, which is in line with our Dasar Agro Makanan Negara.
If they don't follow, Dr. Sri, will heads roll?
Yes.
Yes.
No, it is started in 2010.
Okay.
That is done Dasar Agro Makanan Negara 1.
1.0, yes.
Now, 2021 to 2030, Dasar Agro Makanan Negara 2.
Right. So we're looking forward to a lot of these changes that you've just announced coming into force and helping us close those gaps. Do you have any closing remarks, Dato' Sri, for the Malaysian public watching this show? What kind of words of confidence can you give our viewers who are waiting for food prices to come down again and for them to return to some kind of semblance of normal?
Despite the economic uncertainties due to the result of COVID-19 pandemic, the agro-food industry continues to show resilience due to its strong fundamentals. The government of Malaysia has also established a cabinet committee on food security policy, which is chaired by the Prime Minister himself, to formulate a holistic food security framework for the country. Thirdly, a specific action plan on national food security policy has been developed under the governance of this committee to increase the adoption of the technology and intensify research, development and commercialization and innovation, R&D and CNI, and to promote strategic collaboration on food security. National Agro-Food Policy 2.0, done 2.0, to ensure robust food system at the national level and to overcome food security challenges with insight and cooperation with various parties, ministries, agencies, academicians, private sectors, as well as NGOs.
So, Dr. Sri, I know that was supposed to be a closing remark, but I just want to ask you one final question, Dr. Sri. Every time a new committee is formed, or a new board is formed, or a new Jawatan Kuasa is formed, does that mean that there will be additional expenditure to pay for the members of the committee?
Yeah, this new committee is actually not chaired by the Prime Minister himself. And all the subcommittee will be chaired by the various ministers in charge. That means there's no extra budget or anything.
Thank you, Dr. Sri, for that reassuring word. A lot of Malaysians are asking that question, so I just thought I had to represent them in asking that to you yourself. So you heard it from the Minister, no extra budgets are being allocated for members of committees formed to tackle food prices. Thank you very much, Dr. Sri, for being very honest, very open with us. We thank you for your time, and we hope that that has helped you answer some of your questions from the government's perspective, of course. We'll be having more conversations on food security moving forward. Thank you for staying with us. We'll be back with our TikTok challenge. This time, we're going to have to make do with just Jazz and me. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back on Talk to Terrence with our final word. Well, you can see Jazz has been very mellow since the get-go today. I mean, the only shine and sparkle in his eye appeared when Weena walked into the set. So we're gonna perk him up. TikTok today is just gonna be you and me, bro. We've got a TikTok that's gonna perk you right up. Hopefully you too. I know some of the parts of the conversation we had with the Deputy Minister were a bit on low note. So we're gonna really perk everybody up with this song, Hit the Music.
Then they all went to heaven in a little rowboat. Clap, 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 snap. Clap, pat, clap, snap. Clap. Then they all went to heaven in a little rowboat. Clap, 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 snap. Clap, pat, clap, snap. Clap. Then they all
Hope you had fun doing that at home. If that didn't perk you up, I don't know what will. Hope you join us on social media at Talk to Terrence on Instagram, at Talk to Terrence on TikTok. And with that, we're going to close with a big one, a blast from the past. Daughtry made this song famous.
What about today? What if